Well, 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 yes, this meeting is being recorded. Palms up, palms up. We are back in the saddle. How's it going out there, Facebook? How's it going? Grab a friend, let them know that your girl is back. Uh-oh, what's going on with this voice of mine? Uh-oh. Palms up. We had a ball on Juneteenth. Did you tune in? Did you join us? Uh-oh, you got to wait for the playback. Hey. Overseer Coles, how's it going?
Beautiful, beautiful. I'm glad the sun is out now. It was rainy earlier.
I tell you, it's been raining all day, and we got so much going on. I'm behind. We took time off to do our launch, and we're gonna talk about all that. We got a whole wonderful hour ahead of us. Hello, Facebook. We missed you guys. We've been gone for about 2 weeks now. I tell you, who's been watching that Kingdom? What's going on in these streets, Washington, D.C.? What's going on in these streets? We're going to talk about it. It's your girl. Palms up. We're back for another wonderful Tuesday. Guys, you know what it is. I'm here again another week with my wonderful and beautiful Overseer Coles. Welcome back, Overseer Coles, for another week.
Thank you. It's good to be back. I miss my Palms Up family.
I tell you, I was like, wow, this 2 weeks just flew. Well, let's get it started. Let's get it kicked off. First and foremost, let me take care of some business. I have not been acknowledging my sponsors as much as we need to on the feed. Kept talking about spam because I kept giving them so much love. So we figured we'd take a break for a minute. But you know what it is. Your girls over there at Glamour Nails, Miss Sheila Hung High. How's it going, Sheila? Sending out much love to you from the Palms Up show. Guys, go and get your nails done if you haven't already done so. You know the weather's nice. You know we like to look well. You know what it is. 202-750-6612. Going over to Glamour Nails on North Capitol and get your nails did, because you know what it is. I need to be going over there myself. Palms up. Hey, Miss Sheila, sending some love your way. She's always supporting our efforts in the community. And she called and said, Miss Rhonda, I didn't get the invoice. I said, I know that's right. When the sponsors start calling, looking for where they're supposed to send the money, that's when you know they committed to this effort. Hey, Miss Danita's House Ahead, talking about another committed queen in the community. Held us down through the pandemic, palms up, and she's still holding the fort for us. Guys, if you need your hair did, you need to go and see Miss Danita's House of Hair, 202-607-4325. She'll get you done. She'll get you taken care of. Hey, Danita, sending some love to you, queen. That's 202-607-4325. And you know what it is. If you don't have that insurance by now, all things insurance, business, health, life, you name it, auto, 202-487-0497 will get you in touch with the Waterfront Insurance Network. Let's get these words right, Rhonda. 202-487-0497. It's the Waterfront Insurance Network, and they're servicing all of your insurance needs. Hey guys, we got to take care of our sponsors because they take care of us. Oh my goodness. Welcome to the platform, Miss Sharami and High Tide with your beautiful self. Welcome to another week of the Palms Up. Well, guys, let's see. They rolling on in here. Welcome. Let's get it going because we got some conversations to have. Well, word on the street is that June is scoliosis month. When we talked to you last, we told you this was the case. We told you that June was the National Month of Scoliosis. We told you that in honor of our dear advocate, Kenneth Clark, that we wanted to honor all the brave soldiers out there that are battling this scoliosis, and we wanted to acknowledge your bravery during the month of June. Guys, if you want to learn more about scoliosis, you can learn more at www.healthline.com. And just so you'll know, if you didn't know, scoliosis is a sideways curvature of the spine, and it typically occurs most often during the growth spurts during and before puberty. Excuse my friend. Did you know that there are more than 3 million U.S. cases per year? I didn't know that. Scoliosis month is June. Guys, if you know someone that's going through, give them some wonderful words of encouragement. And as always, guys, word on the street is that the DMV is offering walk-in appointments. That's right, for those of you who are stressed out because you haven't been able to get into that darn DMV. I tell you, our dear colleagues have been telling us about the tickets they've been getting. Their registrations are out of whack. It is just a mess still. Just because they flip a switch and say we go back to the norm, or the new norm, I should say, doesn't mean that everybody's ready or in position to be ready. So it sounds like the council has gotten wind of, they need to give more time. They need to come up with more solutions. And so Bowser herself, Mayor Bowser, is saying that the DMV, Department of Motor Vehicles in the nation's capital, will be offering walk-in appointments starting in July. So you guys that have been going through, don't fret. Looks like they're getting the word out there. And I heard that there's talk about rolling back the tickets that's been being issued. So not sure what that's about, but definitely stay tuned. And for anything that we're talking about on our platform, you guys can go to our website at healthydcnme.org and be sure to spell "and" out and find all out about the stories that we're talking about. Word on the street says that Mayor Bowser, in her testimony before the U.S. Senate Committee on Homeland Security, said that the civil rights and full democracy of D.C. residents are in their hands. That's right, their hands. If they don't pass this statehood, well, someone needs to let our dear mayor know that the civil rights and full democracy of D.C. residents are also in her hands, such as our dear residents over at Woodbury Village that are still calling, hey guys, we're getting ready to go to war with this city over our dear families in Woodbury Village. I want you to know that yes, we've been talking to the attorneys in the background. Yes, we've been on the Attorney General's office. Yes, we've been talking to DCRA, but it makes no sense that a slumlord would continue to be able to operate as they have been. These pictures do not lie, and people do not need to be living in these conditions, and I guess they didn't hear us, so we going to war. Okay, it's war, because it makes no sense for us to have to do this. You just saw on the news that the citizens over at Marbury Plaza Apartments didn't have any AC in the heat in the wintertime. I'm sorry, in the summertime. And the frustrating thing is that the tenants in Woodbury didn't have heat in the wintertime. So what's going on in this town in Ward 8 Southeast DC with this council member that 200 plus calls have to go to your office, but yet and still you don't know what's going on and you stand with the community? If you stood with the community, this nonsense wouldn't keep happening on your watch. Now, enough is enough, and we're getting to have another election, and the same old faces getting ready to show up, and the same old nonsense is going to keep on if we don't wake up and put our foots down. It is not okay. It is not okay for people to be living the way that they're living in the summer and in the winter, and these pictures are coming. Stay tuned. We got more pictures coming, and we're going to war with this city because it makes no sense. And my heart breaks for families that reach out to me with children, my seniors, and you know, you can't wave a wand. And then what happens with so much going on, you got advocates on the ground that start taking digs at one another because the frustration levels start to rise. We can't do that. We're going to do this as a civilized people, and this city will hear us, and our citizens will have justice. And these problems should not have to all be fought in courts of law. There are morals that are supposed to be followed, and people's mental health matters. So we're going to war with this city. We back. Palms up. Yeah, we launched the trauma center. Yeah, we got some stuff going on, but don't ever get it twisted. We always advocates every day of the week, and that's at the core of our trauma center project, because this city needs to be made aware. Mental health matters, and people's living that is not stable in their households, and mold and leaks and rust and all the other things they have to deal with, the rats, the rodent infestation, it's not okay. And we're going to get to the bottom of this, because we're going to be some nuisance factors, because we ain't got nothing but time, DC, nothing but time. So yes, Ms. Bowser, the civil rights and full democracy of DC residents are in your hands, Miss Mayor. Too many of these apartment complexes with our low-income citizens and our vulnerable citizens are coming under question. What's going on with your standards in this city, and why are you allowing these slumlords to take care of our people? Enough is enough. Calling it out. Speak up out there. Word on the street says that a DC woman was sentenced to prison for a hate crime targeting a member of the Asian community. All right, let's talk about it. Yeah, I know. I hear the conversation out there. You hear the conversation out there, palms up. I know they gave them a whole bill and some other things, and we feel like as a people, we're not getting the same considerations. I get all of that. But we have no excuse to practice hatred. So stop trying to create one. Being Black ain't never been a new thing. Okay? So what we're going to stop doing is trying to create reasons to be unkind and inhumane. And let me tell you what's going on so that you know what's at the heart of this, or the surface of this. I'm sorry, beyond the surface of this. The young lady, 64 years old, held an Asian member of the community at knife point, threatening to kill her, saying verbatim, "I will kill you. You have coronavirus. Go back to China." Come on now. Not too long ago, in the 60s, it wasn't coronavirus. It was Black virus, people of color virus, ignorant virus, discrimination virus, racism virus. Stop giving people who would naturally be hateful people a reason to be mean. It's not okay. I don't care what color your skin or what your nationality is. Get to know the person. We are human beings, and it's not okay to practice hatred. So the maximum sentence for this particular crime is 270 days incarceration. And then the young lady's supposed to do 18 months of probation afterwards. They tell me all but 90 days of the sentence got suspended. She was charged with bodily harm with a hate bias enhancement. She's also pending be charged in 2 other cases similarly. Come on now, word on the street is it ain't cool to be hateful, period. Doesn't matter the color of your skin. All right, one more. Yeah, we back. That's why your girl is burning them up this week. Who's watching the kingdom out there? Palms up. Not on our watch, not on our watch. Word on the street is that almost 900 Secret Service employees were infected with COVID. That's right, according to government records that diagnosed between March 1st, 2020 through March 9th, 2021, the Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington Watchdog Group uncovered records that shows that 900 Secret Service. Why did this catch my attention beyond it being a large number and the reality of what we are really dealing with this COVID situation is that we had a president during that time that said, we don't got no problem. And the people paid to protect him, 900 of them, it's no wonder, because he was so reckless. And guys, when you have careless and reckless leaders, it can be damaging to your health and to your life. Please use that as an example. Hello, team. Hello, team. Palms up to you guys. Thanks for tuning in with us for another week. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. How's it going, Mr. Unapologetically Speaking? You gonna unmute and talk to us?
Doing well. Doing well.
Doing well. You got your voice after all that partying over the weekend?
Yeah.
What a time, what a time. Hey, Miss Yvette. Hey, Miss Yvette, unmute and speak to the beautiful people. Welcome, welcome to the Palms Up platform for another beautiful week. We're going to give people time to find their unmute. Miss Sharami and Hightower back on the platform. Hey guys, I want to talk about something. You know, we launched our Capital City Emergency Level 2 Trauma and Wellness Center project on Juneteenth up at the Harborside Hotel in Oxon Hill, Maryland. And we had a fabulous time, I can't wait for the playback so I could truly enjoy it. But guys, I want to talk about something for a minute, because one of the things that I'm excited to talk about is the fact that the trauma center in and of itself is going to be is definitely needed. But I'm really excited about the fact that we have the resource, or the community outreach resource hub, that's going to be a part of it. And let's talk about some of this need in the community that something like this, or a project like this, can help to address. One of the things we were supposed to talk about in the past 2 weeks show topic on Palms Up, which the show, we had to postpone it so that we can get the event scheduled and properly rolled out. But one of the things that we were going to talk about was our foster care system. And a lot of the times, our children of mental health and of unhealthy households are touched. They go through trauma themselves. We have adults that have grown up, that have come through situations as such, and they've gone through similar circumstances. And it's something that we don't touch on a lot, but it was something that we wanted to expound on the Palms Up platform, because here we're all family, and this is where we're going to do our healing together. And that's why we're so excited about this trauma center, because there's so many of our community members that are slipping through our fingers. And we just want to be able to be visible enough to give out more hugs, make sure our people are eating, make sure we can get people motivated to deal with whatever's keeping them back from living their best life, because it is time out for any type of social determinant that are going to keep our people down. Palms up. All right, team, let's talk about it. So I saw an article and I passed it around when I saw the text come through the feed on Facebook, because it was just so powerful. And it talked about the unaccountability, yet again, of another DC system. Most importantly, one very dear and near to our hearts. Our dear Kenneth Clark came through the foster care system. And these are conversations that we've had on numerous occasions, you and I, Overseer Ann, about the city's, efforts at separating families as opposed to having initiatives that keep them together. And as a result, it puts our children in harm's way. And one of the things I'm excited about with the Capital City Emergency Level 2 Trauma and Wellness Center, we'll be saying that all evening, just so you know, so get over it. One of the things I'm excited about is that we will have a center geared up to deal with our types of issues, and staff by people such as ourselves who are sensitive and culturally relevant when it comes to understanding matters such as this, having grown through and gone through things of this matter. Kenneth, will you talk to us when we talk about the reality of being able to hopefully help out more in that foster care dynamic? What do you see being an option or an exciting opportunity for us to be able to bridge the gap into that type of system? Will you take us in through your experience?
Sure. What I see happening is becoming that bridge of hope for individuals that have come from the foster care system. Sometimes I think we think that great change has to entail money, but in actuality, that's not even the ordeal of things. Sometimes the youth just need a voice. They need a voice of reasoning, a voice of understanding. They need to be able to vent without being judged, or feeling like because they have come from the foster system that they are less than. And so, I think that is going to be such an exciting piece, because, it's just, we just got to be a listening ear, a shoulder, and just be a voice of reason. That's something that is missing in today's society, being that voice of hope, just to hear individuals share their experiences without being condemned, without being ashamed, without feeling like they're got some kind of guilt trip, or for coming for experiencing their background. We got to be a voice of understanding. And so
yeah, That's I love that you put it that way, and you're so right. We are dangerously repeating history. You know, I thought about that when we were so excited about the launch of the Trauma Center project and the fact that we were doing it on Juneteenth, and historically that is the 100-year anniversary of the, many of you know by now, the Tulsa massacre, which saw many Black businesses of Black Wall Street perish as a result of hatred, just pure hatred, and the reality of us talking about legislation or having to draft legislation because of an Asian community, you know, situation that's rising up. And then also we got these guns going off, and we're obviously a lot of times the perpetrators in these situations in terms of crimes against each other. We just got a lot going on, and you're right. We are starting to be come away from caring about each other and offering more hugs and more understandings. Hey, Overseer, with DC being #1 in HIV, and I know we got our beautiful, wonderful family of Gilead at the table looking to support our efforts on some level with this Trauma Center project. I'm remiss to think about our LGBTQ community members out there and youth who go through quite a bit in the hatred in the community as a result of trying to find folks to care. I know a large part of our homeless population has to do with our youth and our teen that are struggling with some of those kinds of issues. And so I'm excited that your Kingdom Life Ministries and many of your auxiliary groups are a part of this endeavor because of the communities such as our HIV and our domestic violence women. Will you talk a little bit about your excitement and what it is that you see happening as we bring this center forward, would you please?
That the vision has taken on a life.
Yeah.
It has really taken a life of its own.
Thank you.
And the more we get in the community, the more powerful it becomes.
Mm-hmm.
It allows you to see the realness. A lot of times when the government steps in, a lot is covered up and not said.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of destruction happens. Trauma comes in, dealing in the community that we work in. They're fearful to ask for help because it's always a negative outcome. 95% of the time is a negative outcome where everybody hurts. But doing this, it's giving people a safe place. It's also giving the officers a time to be that mediator for situations and keep families out of harm's way.
Yeah.
And the stigma of HIV is very real, especially in our churches.
Yeah.
They don't want to talk about it. They always think that is related to sex. That's why people got it. But there's a lot of reasons why people got it. And frankly, if they did get it through sex, what business is it of yours?
I was about to say just that.
It's still a human being.
That's right. That's right.
They still deserve some type of quality of life.
Come on.
And they don't need that stinking thinking and using the Bible to beat them across the head. They pick scriptures that they want to pick instead of using it in the right way. Bottom line, love is an action, so it makes no difference. And my heart really goes out to them. You know, I deal with a lot in that type of community because of the community relationships I have. To be truthful, I've gotten more response out of community organizations than going to the church, asking them to come and let's be a part and figure out a way that we can help those in the community where our church buildings are. And of course, most of them, if it ain't feeding their pocketbooks and stuff, they're not interested. Then there are some that are interested, but not educated, not equipped to handle that. That's one thing they don't teach us in seminary. It's how to deal with the realization of mankind.
Yeah. And so, you touched on a lot there. And one of the things that is interesting, you were talking about the HIV and the stigma of such, and on the clergy level. The reality is that it does not matter what walk of life you are from. The reality of being mean or projecting meanness to someone to the point that they don't feel worthy of being loved or receiving your empathy, it's just wrong. And it says more about you as an individual than it could ever say about anybody that you could be trying to project that type of action on. And we've got to really just get back to being human being about situation, human kindness. Sharami and Hata, I want to call you into the conversation. We acknowledged you. I hope you'll forgive me for putting you on the spot, but a lot of what we do and a lot of why we get so much feedback on our platform is because we do keep it real and because we are bringing topics that are, relative and relatable to the families out there that are watching us. Palms up to all our Palms Up viewers out there. Just know that we appreciate you, and we do this work to make sure that we all grow together, because none of us are alone. We're all in this together always. Palms up. Hey, Sharami, I wanted to bring you to the forefront and ask you if you could talk on something, because, in the Black community, we don't talk about our business. We private, we keep things in, and nobody's asking you to be different about that. However, when we are going through something, I know that you and your family are experiencing something. Our dear heart, our dear queen, who has come out in the community and supported us on several occasions. She came out and helped the babies with their Halloween makeup. She was so brave, the youngest one out there, to get up on that stage down at Anacostia Park when we did our mental health picnic, and we invited Congresswoman Eleanor Norton to come down. And she was so brave to get up there and be a voice, a representation for our youth at 17 years of age. She graced that stage and she very bravely discussed the challenges that youth face in school, the stigma and everything surrounding with having mental health. And I would like for the Palms Up family to send out a very heartfelt palms up to our beautiful Khadija, who's in the hospital, who is being very brave right now and challenging some things. And I'm bringing it up because you are a strong mother, you're a wife, and we did the whole month of May checking on our strong friends. And you, my dear, I didn't mean to pull a Oprah on you. I'm sorry.
I knew you would.
I
It was
did
coming.
too, but I just, you are being so strong, and to see you show up to the feed, I want to give you so much love as a Black mother and wife right now, because that baby's battling, and you're trying to be the face of the strength that she needs. But I think about a center that we're bringing, such as the one that we've designed and working with the team on, to bring support groups. When we brought the Diva support groups to the community over there in Ward 8, Cedar Heights, and we encountered some of everything, but what we knew was that the core was that if we ever hope to get our family stable, we've got to be able to support our women, because our women are the backbones. I mean, our men depend on our women, and we depend on them as well, but our women, they're the nurturers, and they typically are the ones holding the household together. And if we can't keep our women whole and provide them the level of support that they need when they need it, and those resources are not available, then what happens to our family structure? And again, I think we don't look at the dynamics of that when we see this gun violence and we see these carjackings and these murders by our youth playing out. The first question for me is always, where are the parents, or where is the structure? And that's whether the parents or the grandparents or extended family. And that's why we got to get back to being a village, because our babies need us. And so, Ms. Hightower, I just, with the work we're out here doing, what you're dealing with your family. How beneficial would a support group right now be, with a room full of folk that, and I know you have that in your community out there where our baby girl is, but just talking about the community where you come into every day to go to work and where you manage, and just some of the landscape you see.
So what's funny that you say it is that I had my Cedar Heights family to call me not even an hour ago. And awesome. It was our girls, our LGBTQ community. And
watching the community over there, palms up to our queens over there.
They were talking about how we had created a structure in that community to allow it to grow, to allow it to see what it could possibly be, to acknowledge that our kids come first, to have them, and Rhonda knows this about them, every day, them kids, them women, those boys were in my office every day. stressing me out. But the fun part about it was they respected me, and I respected them. May it be, may they be a part of the community or just a friend that came to the community, and because what they had before, they didn't talk to the community. They were just villains. They didn't care to know their story. They didn't care to see why they were there. They didn't care to allow the voices that felt like they didn't have a voice. All they were there to do was survive. And it feels good from time to time, although I am not going back to Cedar Heights. I don't care to hear them say, we miss you. We miss the efforts. We miss the tangerines, the orange lady. We miss the dysfunctional divas. The kids are growing up now, and
Yes,
they don't have. They are, and the foundation is crumbling because the foundation that we set allowed them to see that it could be done.
Absolutely.
It was done.
Absolutely.
Now, to continue on the legacy was the challenge because, unfortunately, we grow.
Yeah.
And we grew with the hope that they would completely still kind of set that foundation. But unfortunately, life doesn't always offer that to you.
Yeah.
But sometimes it feels good for them to call and say, Mom, they tripping.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, and it's so cool that we still can make those connections, and that's why now is the time. To our Palms Up audience out there, what we need you to understand is that even if these aren't stories that you are familiar with, even if this doesn't resonate for you, what is important for you to recognize is that these are real life stories and it exists. There are folks in our community that are disconnected, that just needs that extra love, just needs that extra connection, just needs to know that someone going to show up every day with a bag full of oranges that they can just go and get an orange from. And it's not about the orange. It's not about the oranges, guys.
It was the community.
It was the community effect. It was the fact that everybody was tuned in to the same frequency, and it was about saving lives. And the most beautiful accomplishment in that community was the 1 year ceasefire that wasn't even called.
1 year.
We had enough, and we came over bringing what we know to bring, which was love and empathy and holding everybody accountable and putting our babies first and making sure that they knew that we were all in this together. And for 1 year, we didn't have any guns going.
Y'all don't even understand. We had 1 year ceasefire. We had community days that they will forever remember. Even the drug boys look for Rhonda with the oranges. Like, it's just insane, right?
I was taking care of their babies. They weren't going, you know.
It was 1 year where the community came together with 7D, voiced their opinions. 7D was, shout out to Captain Harrod, who heard my voice every day. Every day. Me holding the security companies accountable, making sure that anytime that the kids were outside, they never had to hear a gun on my property. To shout out to Rhonda, Dysfunctional Divas, for staying in place and understanding their roles in a community of kids that had no guidance whatsoever.
That's right.
I mean, I've been in this game 20 years and I've had my fair share of battles, believe me. I've seen the best of the best and the worst of the worst. And being in a private, I call it the private sector, because this was a different type of ownership versus public housing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was, I could go hard. And I have a passion for what I do.
Yeah, you do.
Them kids come around that corner. They didn't ask for me no more. They asked for Rhonda.
Looking for that car to pull in. With my mother's keep
man, and my mother's keeper show up around that corner.
You know, the funniest thing is when it wasn't their night. We had babies on Tuesday night and the mom was on Wednesday night. And the baby showed up on Wednesday night. I said, it's not our night. No, it's the mom. Mama, come on, it's your night.
They would absolutely go and get their kid. They
Yelling
would
up
get
at
their
the
mothers.
window. If you don't get down here and get this word, and it's so beautiful.
It was
And
beautiful.
you know, and the truth of the matter is, when you walk through these communities so humbly, I'm sorry, Kim, we're gonna work you back in this conversation. When you walk through these communities tiptoeing and so humble about the work you do, there are others that would think that you brand new or that you're not doing it on that level. But when you do this work for God and you do this work to help the people, it's not about the glory of it all. But you know, we came out with this trauma center announcement because we were just sick and tired of being sick and tired. You know, we came out with Project Enough, every night under fire and fear. Babies are going to sleep. You know, we were just frustrated, like, my God, what is it going to take? And then we got excited because we're getting some new stuff and development is happening and 300 million being spent. And, you know, clearly we must go and get our needs taken. And then, you know, to have all and more of the same. Come on now. So obviously, we've got to, you know, talk it up on the community level, and we've got to bring these stories to the forefront. And so I'm excited, and I thank you guys for being vulnerable enough to come before our family, the Facebook family, to let them know that when we out here talking about Palms Up and the Healthy DC and Me and mental health matters, we on a mission. We're on a mission, and let's be clear, the need is so great out there. Mental health crosses all barriers. So whether our citizens are returned citizens, challenged for resources, if they are homeless citizens, challenged for resources, if they are lost youth, challenged for resources, my God, if they are seniors seeking, mental health is at the core of all of these populations. And so it is imperative that we as mental health advocates speak up and show up. And let's be clear, there are many ways to address the need. And what we see happening is we see Washington, D.C. being more about government dictated services as opposed to a cohesive understanding of progressive resources so that we make decisions that are best for the standards and care of our citizens.
I agree. Not
for the bottom line of a budget, because to stay with programs that do not work, to allow folks to think that they have some kind of clique or undercover connection that you are violating because they introduced the person. Nobody's operating in a city like that with so many people in need. That's part of the problem. When you allow systems to be big enough that they monopolize and become prioritized over the proper care of our citizens, it's time to speak up and speak out.
Let's talk about it for real.
Come on.
Or they're allowing these people to come in here, create these bogus agencies to assist that aren't assisting for the real. They're not here to assist. They're here to collect the check and go about their business.
Yeah, that's what happened in political towns.
This political, ridiculous town. And I can only speak on it because, again, I'm in the thick of it all.
Yeah.
I deal with these kids who deal with rape. I deal with these kids that deal with drugs. I deal with these mothers who's up there the same age as their kids mentally because there's no guidance or there's no resource or there's nobody out there to lend that hand that says, we got you. We want to help. And at the end of the day, you do it in the beginning because what we say, they interview well. But in the back end of that story, those kids and those families are still suffering. You talk about self-sufficiency. You talk about self-sufficiency, but where's the teachings of how to get there? Where's the education in this?
And how do you create programs and budgets for programs without an exit plan that ends with the citizen winning? How in the world is the program even considered?
It's constantly,
unless you have a guaranteed understanding of some sort of exit plan that ends with an impactful, measurable understanding. See, they're banking too much. Come on, sis, to the conversation.
The real problem is most grant running programs, it's not to solve anything. All it is about is giving out some literature and reporting numbers. That's what it's really about.
people's lives. People are hurting. And let's talk
Remember
about this.
those.
It's a good segue for a minute. Hold tight. Guys, I want you to know you're not alone out there. The My Mother's Keeper organization, along with the Kingdom Life Outreach Ministries, and and also our brothers over at Uncut Live Productions, and all of our beautiful queens and advocates out here. We are out here doing this work together, representative of the Healthy DC and Me Leadership Coalition, because we all care. We all care, and we know that you're out there, and we want you to know that you're not by yourself. There's an 800 number for a suicide hotline. I'm going to give you that number, and I'll give you my number as well, because I don't mind receiving your call any day of the week if it's going to help keep you here, because you are worth it, and we all go through, and that's why we do this platform. Let's face it, if this platform and the conversation isn't resonating with you, then it's not for you. This platform is for people that really need someone to talk to, that really want transparent conversation, and really tired of being pushed around by programs that don't work. We've got to break these cycles, because our babies deserve it. You deserve it. Guys, if you're out there in a dark space, a dark place, and you find yourself from time to time needing to talk to somebody just to be able to, know that you're okay and that you kind of got that safe space to get to, 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255. And then you can call Miss Rhonda at 240-274-9436. That's 240-274-9436. And for you progressive folks out there, it's Miss Hamilton, I know. I have colleagues that always get on me for that. Hey guys, let's talk about this Capital Center, Lord God bless the Capital Center, Capital City Emergency Level 2 Trauma and Wellness Center. When we say Level 2, two things I want to point out. One, this is a standalone center. We didn't see the need to bring a whole nother hospital, but we did see the need to have a trauma and wellness center somewhere that when our folks are discharged and stabilized in their care, we have the ability to travel with them as they integrate back into their lives. And that's where we see the ball being dropped on the community level. We've got to help these families get back to sustainable, stable housing. They've got to be able to deal with their conflicts, and they've got to also be accountable for that which they are and that which belongs to them. And that would be their children and anything else that's assigned to them. And these governmental benefits need to come with accountabilities, and because they don't, we out here catching the downfall of that. And so we've got to help our city get back to a means of helping our people to all be able to coexist positively and stop the killings. So with that said, hey, Kenneth Clark, I want to talk a little bit more about the work you've been doing over in PG County, because we spend a lot of time talking about DC, but I know that you are also as active in PG County, and then also your We Are Us movement, your beautiful kings and queens up there, most importantly, your soldiers. You guys gave a donation at this weekend's Juneteenth event, our fundraiser for the Trauma Center, which we'll talk about in the last 10 minutes of the show. But talk to me a little bit about the work you're doing outside of DC.
So right now, we're about to establish what's called the We Take Care of Us Coalition, which will almost be like a branch of the We Are Us movement.
Okay.
PG County.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're looking to get that launched within the next 6 months. Mm-hmm. Because
awesome.
I would, as we were just sitting here talking, I was dealing with a family who have a 5-month-old that's fighting for his life due to gun violence. And so this, this is just.
Yeah, it is just sad. It's sickening. Palms up to the family, Ken. I'm so sorry. Palms up to the work you do. I want to give a shout out to you. I want to try something here on the platform. I'm going to share my screen and attempt something. Me, Miss Technology Incline, or Decline, I should say. Hold on, let's see. I want to share something. Ken did a wonderful video that touches on that. So I think this is a great segue. Bear with us out there. I'm going to try something. All right, let's see if I can figure it out. If I can't, we'll go back. I'm looking for my YouTube channel. Let's see. I wanted to show you guys Ken's video, and just because, okay, It's not working. Never mind. I wanted to show you guys Ken's video. I'll have it queued up for the next show and I'll put it on the feed. I'm too scared with this computer. I'll be honest. I ain't no shame in my game. But Ken did a wonderful video and it talked about saving DC, and it comes from the perspective of our youth coming home to find out that one of your colleagues or one of your dear friends or close friends has been shot or killed, and the reality of having to just go forward and go on. The reality of not wanting to and just trying to find yourself, and just the stress of coming home and, not having enough to eat or having to eat the same thing, simply because looking around and you got walls with holes in them and you're a little private coming outside because you don't want people to know your business, but everybody heard it. You're just trying to figure out how to process all of that. And so I love being able to hug my single mothers to let them know that they're not alone. A lot of times we build these things up in our mind that we have to be all of this and all of that. And the truth of the matter is that you're not by yourself. And we've got to do more on the community level to help our families come through. So the reason why we came up with the Capital City Emergency Trauma and Wellness Center was because we realized that unless we got involved or came to the table to voice these very real stories that you heard us talking about tonight, then we won't end up with resources that are really going to help people break these cycles. And our hearts are breaking every time we hear stories such as the one that Ken just raised about a 5-month-old baby fighting for their life. How many more stories like this do you need to hear before you realize that you've got to come back and get involved? See, our babies are not going to do this by themselves. Our single mothers, they can't do it by themselves. Our brothers on the corner, they ain't got us because they ain't got them. We got to all come back to the table and take responsibility for our communities and for our babies. The Capital City Emergency Trauma and Wellness Center project was designed with the community in mind, because it's time. It's time for us all to come together and show that we can do a great, mighty thing together. And I want to talk about something. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. There's no secret that we're a bunch of Black people doing this, right? Where that should be a moment of pride and a moment of proudness. What I found out over the weekend was that we are still carrying those issues of distrust. Just like when we had to decide whether or not we were going to decide to get vaccinated because of the stories of our history and past, the Tuskegee, Institute, all of the information we understand from that, and the experiment and such, and the distrust that involved that. And it's not that we're wrong to distrust and be concerned, but what we've got to do is we've got to move past the distrust and do something. We got to make a decision. We can't just stand in space and decide that we don't trust something, so we're not going to do anything, because that doesn't get us anywhere and that doesn't change anything. And so what I was happy to share with the community member who got my attention to say, Ms. Hamilton, I really love what you guys are doing and I really want to get involved, but we're concerned when these Black companies or agencies come into our communities or organizations and they don't come back, and we get all excited. And I understand that. That's a very real reality. There's trauma in that for folks that get excited that help is here, and then you get abandoned yet again and left to the same situations. Totally get that, totally understand that. And that's why on our platform, what we ask you to do is to come and get involved and be a part of it. Because what would be ideal for us would be the next time we do an event, and the next time we have a community member that's fortunate enough to show up, that took the time to say, hey, I want to get involved, but I'm a little concerned, then that other community member who was concerned would already be out a part of us, and they would be able to welcome them in, because that's how we're going to do this, one member at a time. It's not that we don't understand that you have concerns, because we have them. It's not that we don't understand that trust is a problem. We get that. But guys, if we stay in this same space, we won't grow, and our babies will be the sacrificial pawn. So I'm asking you out there to decide to do something. And if it's not going to be the Capital City Emergency Level 2 Trauma and Wellness Center that we're all excited about, if you're not going to be a part of something as progressive as that, bringing resources and medical services to our babies on the spot in life-threatening situations, no more traveling across the bridge. If this isn't something to bring you to the table, then please promise us that you'll find something as worthwhile to get involved with. to help to change the trajectory of the lives of our citizens in Washington, D.C., most especially east of that river, because you see it just as we do. And it is no longer okay to turn the TV off because it no longer touches you. That's just unacceptable. So what we're saying is that it's time for you to reconcile your issues of trust and decide where you're going to stand. But the line has been drawn. We no longer want to see our babies going to sleep every night under fire and fear, wondering when we're coming. We need our babies to know that we're here. And we're so serious with it, we're erecting a piece of real estate to show them that you will no longer ignore the levels of trauma and the lack of mental health resourcing important enough to save these lives that are falling across the city as you fight for statehood and tell us you care about Black lives. No more on our watch. Hello, team. Hello, team. I'm opening up the lines. I want to hear from you before we get out of here. Capital City Wellness Emergency. What do you hear? Come on, Miss Renee Harris, Miss Rosaline Gooden. Welcome to the conversation.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening. Welcome, Queen.
Hi. How is everyone this evening?
We are awesome and we're excited to have you. And we've just been talking about some stuff and the reality of the need in our community and just, touching on things. The other day we talked about being children or descendants of parents who had addictions and issues that they hadn't overcome and how we kind of just picked it up, carried it with us and kept on going in our living. And we're just talking about taking responsibility and accountability for ourselves so that our children can have a better chance. What do you think about that?
I think it's a good idea. It's definitely great because there's a lot of stuff that a lot of people are still entwined with based on, their parents and things like that. But I do have one question.
Okay.
And it's not to be ignorant of, it's literally, I don't know.
No, right.
I'm not a resident of the District of Columbia.
Mm-hmm.
So is this a DC thing?
I love it. Well, if you are someone that lives in the peripheral of DC, it's a DMV thing. And by that, we mean DC, Maryland, Virginia. And then if that's not where you're connected, then we would say to you, if you happen to live in an urban town where you're seeing heavy instances of gun violence or heavy populations of citizens of a certain nature that are missing care and resources in mental health and drug overdosing, then absolutely this is a conversation that's extending beyond DC because this is about saving lives.
Okay, awesome. Yes, I'm across the street. I'm your neighbor.
Then you know exactly. If you're our neighbor, you so
you know it's some violence over here.
It's
all of that is going over here. I just
absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. And I'm sorry that when we start from the nation's capital, because the nation's capital should be the example, right? And so we talk about it because of the politics in this town, and we want to make sure people are aware because a lot of people that come from where you are, Rosalind, come into the city to work. Or they come in to visit relatives. And a lot of these issues are just as prevalent to them because they're navigating these streets as well. And these bullets don't have any names on them. And so what we're saying is that we've gotten so dangerous that we start compartmentalizing the problems. How can you put borders up when the bullets are flying everywhere?
Yeah.
Glory be to God. Somebody better tell them, hey, Pastor, come on back to the conversation and help me and Rosaline and the others of us understand what we're going to do.
I think it's so sad when I go and I sit with some families. They hear so much gunfire every day that it has now become a norm to them. They don't run. They don't do anything. It's just like, this is just it. One time I was in up on Ridgecrest, because I grew up on Shipley Terrace, but they call it Ridgecrest, and was dropping someone off, and the police were just like running, and like we was like, well, what's going on? They like, get out of here, and the residents, it was just like kind of like standing around. Every day there's guns shooting up there. Somebody's being stabbed. Kids can't come outside and play. And the management team, all they're interested in is upgrading, because basically what they're going to do eventually is take the low income housing and put them out.
Yeah, and that's what I keep hearing echoed. I keep hearing that the reason we have such a slumlord problem is because they're sitting on the units waiting for the people to get frustrated enough to leave. And I'm like, leave and go where? You know, Ken is across the border over in PG County fighting with them about citizens that are not getting taken care of. So where are these people supposed to go? You know, and why is that always the answer? You know, because they didn't we hear a story like that? Seemed like back around the Pilgrims and the Indian story. I mean, you know, I just don't understand. Didn't we hear something about them coming to America to discover something that was already in place? Like, why is it when we want something, we just come up with these bullying tactics and move people out? Because that's what they're doing. They're just bullying people, and it's not okay. It's just not okay.
You got to remember too, this country was built on violence. So why not? Why?
That's true.
If you want to be honest, how did they obtain this land?
Yeah.
By violence.
Yeah.
So it's in the country's DNA.
Yeah. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
I see Sister Harris has her hand up.
Hey, Sister Harris, come on to the conversation, Queen.
Hello, everybody. How are you? I just wanted to say this, and this has always been my prayer. I pray that, you know, I look around and I see ethnicity, and I call it, in the DMV area, I call it a salad bowl. And in that salad bowl, we have all different nationalities. And the Latinos are with the Latinos. It gets to the point where they're demonstrational with their love and how they support one another. If I look at the Ethiopians, it's the same background of support. When I look at the Jamaicans, it's the same background of supporting one another. They don't have to know each other, but I always see them somehow come together. But when I look at us Africans Americans, it's like we treat each other as if we stink sometimes. So if some of us are rich, some of us look down on the ones that are in poverty, and we turn our nose up instead of helping. And I was talking to Ann Coles today, and we agreed on this, and we didn't agree on anything else. You know, a lot of us, we don't support each other, you know, and then when we do support each other, we're nice, nasty a lot of times. And that puts like a bitter taste. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can't be nasty. We have to be, right. We can't be nasty. We have to learn how to deal with each other. And just because a person is walking around with an attitude, don't develop it like as if it's them, you know, they feel a certain way about me. A person could be going through something. They could be suicidal, a mental state in their mind. And, you know, just because they're going through those things does not mean that they don't have a right to be treated right. So my prayer is that we will support each other and stop waiting until a person is impoverished or rats and roaches are running rampant. We should always want to come together. We should always want to help one another. If we see another brother in a fault, whether they're addicts or whether our young people are on a bus and acting all crazy, you know, this is what I pray, that God will give us that anointing to reach the rough and rowdy and rageful people, you know, and, you know, when we do it, it's a problem. But if any other ethnicity do it, then it's not a problem. So, you know, when we say Black Lives Matter, do we really matter to each other? Why is it the same that Black Lives Matter when we're getting shot, or we've come together in that? Why can't we come together in good times? You know, even when a person is not dying, even if I saw a prostitute, I'm going to treat her just like I would treat Kamala Harris. You know, I'm not going to look down upon her because you don't even know what has brought her to that place. So if we would support each other in that, there is a lot of Black-owned businesses out here that we need to really start and support. So when we come together, we're mighty. we are Black people are such mighty people, you
Yes,
know. And
yes, yes.
if it's something that we want to put our minds to,
That's right.
we are stronger in
Absolutely.
numbers. Even in
Absolutely.
prayer, it says if two or more will touch and agree
Come
on
on now.
anything, that God will be in the midst.
That's
But
right.
it says one could take 1,000 a flight, 2 10,000. So imagine 5 of us.
Yeah.
Or imagine a movement in the earth with
Yes.
just all of us Black people, and not doing it in anger and rage and brutality, but
yeah.
doing it and operating
That's right.
in love. We will
That's
be
right.
so strong. We make up 80% of this earth.
Come on, Queen.
All over, even in other countries. There are
still have
Black
people of
nationality.
color. That's right.
There are Black Chinese people.
All
There are
over,
Black
everywhere.
Koreans. There we even have us in
Everywhere.
Russia. There
Yeah,
are Black
we
Russians.
everywhere. Yes.
So we're everywhere. So
Yes.
if we would just support one another, the
Yes.
movement will be phenomenal.
That's beautifully said, sister. I want to, Yvette, chiming in the conversation, wanted to know how the 1-year ceasefire worked, and that was amazing. Yeah, we thought so as well. And if we could do it in 1 year, we can do it. And just segue on what the Queen just said, when we come together and put our minds together, there is nothing that we can't do in a mighty, powerful, positive way. And the ceasefire was just basically that, coming together and expressing the needs in the community and the concern, and letting them know that there was something more important at stake, which was our babies, the lives of our children. And we have to always, always operate from the understanding that our babies matter, and there are things that we should be doing for our children, even when we can't reconcile doing them for ourselves. So I say to the community as a whole, it is not enough for you not to get involved because you don't trust or because you don't understand. We're saying to you, you take the first step and just ask the question and let us know that you're interested. We'll make good on helping you to understand and getting the answers that you need. Because as I shared with the beautiful community member, if you look on our website, we're transparent. We leave our footsteps up for 4 years back. That way you can see where we've traveled, where we've been, and what we've done. And it's not just about us, because the need is greater and bigger than us. And that's why we came back to get a coalition. So guys and gals out there, I want you guys to jot down capitalcityemergency.org. There are 12 levels of giving. Whether you purchase a $5 raffle ticket, whether you decide you want to designate or donate to the trauma documentary, which doesn't cost you $1. You just have to be willing to be brave enough to come forward and use your voice. We've got to all do something to make sure that we amplify our frustrations with having our families and our communities living less than. We're here to help improve the quality of life for all people, and most especially our vulnerable and low-income citizens. Hey guys, it's your girl. What's up out there? If you're going through, we want you to know that your fam is back, your family's back. Palms up to all of my beautiful souls out there. And yes, today and every day, mental health absolutely matters, and it always will. And we're here for you. Although we're doing and making moves in the community, everything we're doing is for the betterment and the greater good of you guys. We can't do this without you, nor do we want to. capitalcityemergency.org. We've got a whole 6 months of celebrating and fundraising to do. We got some fun events that are going to be coming around to your communities. We're going to be doing a lot of things that is going to be involving entertainment. We want you guys to get involved. All you got to do is let us know that you're interested. Again, that's capitalcityemergency.org. If you see our beautiful soldier Ken out in the community, let him know you want to get involved with what he's doing. He'll bring you to the forefront. Let our dear overseer Ann Coles know that you're someone that wants to get involved with the support groups and helping families. Guys, we are out here. Our beautiful queens, my board members come out to support us in full strength, because we are all at the table committed to making sure that we are touching and impacting lives for the better. Hey guys, palms up. Appreciate you guys. We miss you out there. All right, for the rest of the month, you know what it is. It's going to be about the Capital City Emergency Level 2 Trauma and Wellness Center. If you want to know what the Level 2 is about and why it was so important for us to put it in the name, because Level 2 means that whatever's going on, we taking care of it on the spot. We're not dressing and sending people across no waters and sending people into ill-equipped centers to take care of matters that need to be addressed in a traumatic nature. Okay, so we need you guys to understand that we want to raise the standard of care that our people are going to receive. And it's going to take all of us, because they've already decided that they wanted you to understand a different narrative. Time out for all of that. Enough is enough. Who's watching the kingdom out there? Palms up. Guys, we're going to see you next week. I know we ran a little over. You know how we do. We don't follow no rules out here in these streets. It's war, DC. Woodbury Village, I've been getting blowed up since I've been here with pictures upon pictures. It's on you. We're bringing it your way. Our citizens are not living like that no more. Palms up. Catch you guys next week. It's your girl. It's your girl. Stay cool out there. Be nice. See you next week. God bless.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Everyone have a great evening. God
Thank
bless.
you, Renee. Palms up.
Palms up.